2 massage sessions to help you with getting through your chair sitting day. The first one, we just use supported fingers on the chair. So we're looking at massaging the lower tummy. Lower tummies can get very tight if we're sitting a lot and then trying to be an athlete on the weekend. And the same with the inside leg muscles. So how about massaging the tummy? We'll use supported fingers just like that, just alongside the tummy button. And what works best? Leaning back, maybe leaning forward works best. That's working quite nicely. Lift my shoulder, is that working? Leaning back, oh yeah, that's good here. And so we could be going a little bit below the belt line. Perhaps you wouldn't do this in public, but we've got supported fingers here, like that. And then right down along the side of the six-pack muscle and the transverse and abdominal obliques. What works best? Sitting forward or back? That's sitting quite nicely now. Perhaps a leg out the side? Yes, that's quite nice. Try the other side. Sitting forward, sitting back. There we go. Again, don't do this in public, folks. And there we go. There's a good spot on the side of the six-pack muscle. Go down low. Okay, so inner thigh muscles, we can just, again, use supported fingers. So what's going to work here? If I take the leg out wide, does that work? Not particularly well. So let's bring the leg in. Muscle's a bit softer now. Yes, now I can press into the knots, this hard, the painful knots in this muscle. I'm pushing on a knot now that's sending pain up into the lower tummy muscles. And supposing if you just watch these fingers, after 5 or 20 seconds, it will soften. Now I want you to watch this hand as I just roll the fingers over the belly of that muscle. You're just watching here. There. And that little flick over the muscle will actually help it to relax and normalize. I won't do the other side. We like to do this with a little bit of a bent knees. So again, we just take ourselves into that little bit of a squat. Knees bend wide. Place the ball over the top of the back hip pocket and around, middle of back hip pocket, and over the lower back hip pocket and around. Let's make that happen. Top of the back hip pocket, bend the knees, ball on the wall. And the knees stay bent, and that gives me lots of room to maneuver. And this ball is kind of non-stick, so it's not rolling around or sliding. There's a knot in that muscle there now. Just lean into that. 5 or 10 seconds on that painful knot. It'll soften. And just around to the side, and right round. So side on, both knees are still bent, thighs against the wall, ribs against the wall. And that ball will now go deep, and I can still move the hips around. Can I find another knot? There we go. 5 or 10 seconds, just pressing in there. Really nice. So middle line of the hip pocket, about midway down. Let's try that. This is really loosening up already. And so bent knees, and round the ball goes. Yeah. Oh, there we go. So middle of hip pocket, not too high, not too low. Piriformis muscle. Oh, right, that's quite sharp there. And that muscle twitching a bit, and it will soften and normalize. Take the ball right round. To the side. Another knot there, I could stop there, I could go right round. Again, thigh bone to the wall, ribs to the wall. Right, there we go. Now, if I want to take the ball right forward to the front of the side of the hip, that's the TFL muscle, tensor fasciae lata. We'll just still ribs to the wall, thigh to the wall. And up and down, because I've got bent knees. Bent knees, right, we got it. There, that's really getting into that TFL muscle. Finally, the bottom of the back hip pocket, just above the sit bone. All right, knees bent. And yeah, sort of Elvis the pelvis here. Knees bent, we get a little bit of movement. There's a sharp little spot there. A little bit out to take my body this way, the ball goes that way. A little bit to the outer side of the sit bone towards the top of the thigh bone. We're on the short hip rotators. And they can get very tight. And they need to stay loose if we're going to avoid hip arthritis 20 years down the track in later life. There we go. Ooh. And so that's the 2 massage sessions to help us be comfortable sitting in a chair. 5 third world exercises and explorations, just again to help us be comfortable sitting in a chair. So we start with a deep squat. Of course, third world is not the current term, but we're talking about places that still squat to go to the toilet. Saudi Arabia and Arab nations, and also parts of the Far East. So deep squat, and maybe you need something under your heels, but just work at it. Sit cross-legged, again, Saudi Arabia, and many Eastern countries sit cross-legged. Now, the beauty of these two exercises, deep squat and sit cross-legged, is these countries have very little hip arthritis and very little hip replacements. Okay, so from here, it's just nice to explore how flexible are we now on the inside thighs. So maybe you should try doing this at least twice a week to liven up your day if you're sitting in a chair all day. So there we go. That's just over, it's about 100 degrees. And when you get to 90, will you be able to put your socks on and tie your shoelaces? So let's practice that. Just checking in here. Could we tie our shoelaces here? We'll pull that up and get down to it. How about the other leg? Let's get into that. I'm a bit stiff that side. Okay, it looks like I passed the shoelace test, but could I stand on one leg and put on a shoe, tie the lace, put on a shoe, tie the lace,